Welcome back to your favorite podcast. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Riffin with Griffin. Whoa, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. You know how we do. Today, welcome to Griffin and Griffin at Law, Armchair Paralegal. Woo! The Diddy trial is just, there's just nonsense after nonsense going on in this. I just want to examine it. Let's talk about it. And the NBA. Oh, real Griffin. Whoa, 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 whoa. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Special episode today. I guess anytime I do a damn episode, it's a special episode, right? But make sure you sub, guys. It's important that you sub so you know when I'm going live, or so you know that there's a new episode up. Make sure you check the live section because, you know, it does a weird thing. But anyways, regardless, thanks for all my loyal listeners and people that come out to shows. I appreciate you guys. Speaking of, let me get my calendar up. Yeah. All right, there we go. All right, and then make sure you hit me up on Twitch because I Twitch all the time. Love twitching. I'm always playing Call of Duty. That's my game. People always ask me to play new games. I'm probably not going to play a new game until Grand Theft Auto comes out in like 17 years. Then I'll be playing that, you know, crazy, right? The day hasn't come out yet. And all of my Patreon guys, thanks for being patient with me. You know, stuff's coming soon. Been doing stuff with the house. The solar was a priority. Got that all set up. Now I got to finish this room, and the guy's coming. So I keep talking about that, but a new studio is coming. It's coming. Okay, so appreciate that. So thanks for being here as usual. Wow. If you want to see me live, let's see. What do I got coming up? So this weekend, I'm going to be out with Matt Rife on his tour. You know, those stadiums and big-ass theaters. So I'm doing that if you want to see that live. I think the shows are sold out. You know what I mean? Maybe I should put a ticket link up. I don't know. But, you know, if you guys want to see see me with Matt, those are great shows too, by the way. Really funny on those shows. I'm funny everywhere I go. Doesn't matter. But my own shows coming up. So May 30th to the 1st, I'll be at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. So come check me out there. Helium in Indianapolis, June 4th. And June 5th through the 7th, Comedy Off Broadway. So come check me out there. Actually, I have some other things I don't even have on this calendar. But also, June 13th and 14th, I'll be back in the San Diego area in Escondido at the Grand Comedy Club. So come check me out there. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I'll be doing Nate Jackson's Comedy Club, July 11th through the 13th. That's in Tacoma. And then Madison Square Garden with Matt Rife, 18th and 19th. Come check that out. Then, you know, I got other stuff going on there too. So I appreciate you guys who want to come watch me live. Tell you, I put on a great show. It's fun times. So come check me out live. Somebody just asked me, did you finish Andor? I haven't even started it because I got too many other shows I'm working on. I think I'm going to eat some yogurt at the same time, guys. I know that's just highly inappropriate on a podcast. But you know how we do here. This ain't no regular ass podcast. You know how we do it here at Riffin with Griffin. So, let's see what's going on in my world right now. Nothing too crazy. You know, Wolf's getting big. So like, you know, I had this great video on Instagram of him like dunking on these little new Nerf hoops. One of them he couldn't even do it. Now he does both of them. He could do like, we had to raise it up. I mean, man, these kids grow fast, man. You know, everything they say about kids is true. That's the thing that you like, you know, it's like you have before kids and after kids. You know, before kids, you complaining about kids and you see them in public, you're like, why they got this kid out here do in public, you'd be like, what the hell is this? Or why is this kid in a fancy restaurant? You know what I mean? I'm just, the hypocrisy continues. We were out at Mastro's for Mother's Day. Rachel with our baby sitting in a corner table. He doesn't make a lot of noise, which is good. But even if he did, I'd be like, hey, deal with it. It's Mother's Day. She had her titty out, just breastfeeding. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? I mean, that's your kid. Wait, where's my, where's the, God damn it, I could never, oh, here it is. Let me see if I can find this picture. So, it's like, and I also get like when people say, if you have kids and you wonder why are they letting kids like do certain things, you see them doing stuff. When you become a parent, I realize any chance you get where you don't have to like watch them and entertain them and they can just like do whatever it is they're doing for like 10, 20, 30 minutes. Oh, God, 30 minutes would be a blessing. But no matter what they're doing, when you're a parent, you'll be like, okay, cool. Oh, what is he doing right there? Somebody could be like, well, isn't he like, should he be like putting together a nuclear weapon? You'd be like, is he busy? You're like, yeah. You just, you know what I mean? So it's like, that part of it's great. Now, where's all my pictures? See, I don't know why I can't ever find. Oh, here we go. So this is us at Mother's Day. This is okay. So I'll show you some pictures. So this is one of them. So if you people that are just listening, you have to. Yeah. So this is us. Check that out. That's us in Mastro's. We just in Mastro's in a corner table. She just like. So I put up a thing on my Instagram where I was like, I'll have what he's having. So it's like, he's just, but he's actually pretty good. That's the thing I put up on Mother's Day, so it's good. All right, I don't know. Let me talk about something else too. Like, you house owners, all you people that own houses and stuff, anybody else having weed issues in your backyard? Not weed like the good weed. I'm talking about like weeds. We got this slope and all this stuff. All of a sudden, just weeds growing everywhere. And they tell you, like, you want to get the organic stuff, right? You know what I mean? You want to get the organic stuff, but I look it up. I check, I Google it, and they say, oh, vinegar, salt, and dish soap. Okay? Mix it all up. So I got one of those spray things. I'm mixing it up, and you know what I mean. So I'm out here spraying this stuff. This was like I wasn't doing it when he was out there, but like that little thing. Like, look at all those weeds right there. So I'm spraying this stuff, and I think it says, oh, it's gonna go away pretty soon. Look at Wolf. He's just out there. This cute ass outfit. He's the best dressed in the house. They didn't go away, y'all. It's like, you don't want to use chemicals. You don't want to use like what, because you have a kid or whatever, right? You don't want to use that stuff, but nothing else works. Nothing works, man. So you're just sitting here like, what do I put? What do I do? So like I put the vinegar in the stuff. I mixed it up good. The salt. I put the amount of salt it said to put. So some of it died, but it didn't die right away. And that like little circular thing that was there on the ground, I put the stuff on that, and those things, they're thriving. You know what I mean? But somebody said you got to dig them out. Yeah, okay. But then it's like, then what's the point of putting stuff on it if you got to dig it out? But I feel like I got to do something with this slope. You know what I mean? We're not really outdoor people, and it's not like I want to put something out here that takes a lot of maintenance. And then my neighbor told me, because like I have like the sprinkler set on some like it's an automated sprinkler thing. It's pretty great. It waters the front trees and it waters the slope. So he was like, why are you watering your slope every day? I was like, well, I thought you had to water. He was like, no, man, you just watering the weeds. Because that's why my weeds are just growing like a fucking jungle. So I set it to just do it just once a week. He was like, you don't got to water it all the time. These are like these good, like, outdoor deserty type bushes. So I changed that, which is probably going to help me with my water bill. Not that the water bill is high, so we did that. Yeah, but you just gotta, so you gotta pull them out by hand. That's what everybody in the chat is saying. So I guess I'm gonna be a weed guy. So now but I love going to Lowe's. So I'm gonna go to Lowe's, get me some good gloves, give me some like gardening stuff, and I guess I gotta dig up all these weeds. So that's annoying. Yogurt. All right, anyways. So that's that. All right, before I get into my armchair law, let's just talk about the NBA playoffs real quick. Man, did we want to see Luka and LeBron go far? Probably. That would have been a great story. But there's so many great stories in the NBA this year. Every single team has a story that is great, which makes the NBA good. So I talked about it before, but of course, does LeBron get his 5th title at 40 years old? Really makes okay. So they got kicked out. Fine. So that was their story. And then Luka coming to he was in the championship last year. Can he come to the Lakers and so that story done. That story wasn't written. It looked bad. So then you got Golden State Warriors. You have the Golden State Warriors story. Here's Steph Curry trying to go for his 5th championship, really cementing that he is the reason why they win championships. Not Kevin Durant, not anything else, not Klay Thompson. The real underlying reason and factor is Steph Curry is a huge part of it. He's the glue. All right. Now he gets hurt. He's 38. So I wasn't surprised. I didn't even realize that. I was like, he's 38? Damn. So Steph Curry gets hurt, right? But, if Golden State can win tonight, they say he's going to come back, but how good is he going to be after you haven't been playing? So that story doesn't look good, okay? Then you get the Boston Celtics. You have Jason Tatum. He's trying to get first team again, trying to prove he is the best player on the team to go back-to-back. Celtics haven't gone back-to-back since the 80s. I don't even think Bird went back-to-back. So it would have been like the first time in a long time that a Celtics team has gone back-to-back. Jason Tatum in a 40-point game tears his ACL. Not his ACL, his Achilles. He's done. So the Celtics story, gone. Okay? Now you got Ant-Man. Now I said this is one that I think is a great story. Here's a guy in all the commercials. He's got the game you want. He's got both things you love. He flies through the air and dunks on everybody. And he made the most 3-pointers of any player, including Steph Curry this year. So he can shoot threes, the new game, and he also goes to the basket with just with no regard for human life. All right? Dope. So he takes care of LeBron and Luka, dismantles that team. Now he's about to do the same thing to Steph Curry's team. Boom. Now, if whoever wins, Oklahoma City, who is on it's one of the greatest seasons a team has ever. It's the top 5, greatest seasons a team's ever had. 68 wins, margin of victory is great. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, what he has done. So we'll get to them, but I'm saying so for Ant to beat them would be great, or this Denver team that just won the championship two years ago. With this all-time great player, Jokic, if he beats them, which he already did last year, and goes to the championship and wins, he becomes the face of the league. He becomes the best player in the league. It's a great story, all right? It's a great story. All right, cut to even now. What Denver's story would be. They fire their coach, Russell Westbrook's their 6th man. They go in, they win all these games without their coach. They prove that they're a great team and they win the championship again. Jokic jumps into the top 5 greatest players of all time type of thing. Maybe, that's a great story. Oklahoma City. They got a great story. Here's this young team, youngest team ever to do what they've done. You have this young star, which I don't know why the Clippers gave up for Paul George, worst trade in the history of mankind. Anyways, so that trade to me is even worse than the Luka trade. So you got Oklahoma City. They win the championship. They become an all-time great team. 68 wins. They win the championship. It's great. Great story. Now you go to the East. This is where it gets crazy. So Boston's out. There's no way they could beat the Knicks. But then you got the Knicks. What a great story. The Knicks haven't won a championship in 40 years, right? You got this dude, Jalen Brunson. He don't look like nothing. He's not athletic. He's not fast. He just got it right here. He got it. He got that heart of a champion. He's the only player in the league that when he's shooting the ball in the last 5 minutes, I think he's going to make it. Like if you're rooting against him, you're going to think, oh, don't let him get it. You think he's going to make it. He's clutch player of the year. If they go to the championship and win, the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, who, by the way, when he was playing with Luka, could not shine. That's why as soon as he left Luka, he was a better player. Crazy if the Knicks win. That's a great story. Here's another great story. The Indiana Pacers. You know what we forget that I don't even think about? That the Pacers were in the conference finals last year. And Halliburton got hurt. You know, they had a weird road to the thing, you know. Dame Lillard got hurt. So you think, that's not a full team. Would they have beaten the Bucks? I still think they would have beat the Bucks, even with Dame at full strength, because they haven't proven that they're good since he's got there. So I think they would have beat them regardless. But you have that. Then you got Cleveland. So Cleveland, they had all these injuries, right? They lost game 1. Then they lost game 2 at home. And then all the players came back game 3, and they've played ever since. So even with all the players, Pacers, gentlemen swept them. Halliburton was called by the players the most overrated player in the league. If your peers say that about you, man, what kind of motivation is that? Can you even imagine if the Indiana Pacers win the championship? I don't even know what to say. So it's looking like Indiana versus New York to go to the championship. You know what it means? It's going to be a light-skinned dude in the championship regardless. Doing it for the light-skinned dudes. All right. So we'll see. At this point right now, I'll probably give the edge to the Knicks. But as I've been watching the games more than I ever have in the last few years, Indiana's got a great team. That's actually a really good team. And Halliburton, he's the best point guard in the league. The best pure point guard in the league is Halliburton, the way he plays. He makes everybody better. He scores when he needs to score. He's fast. He's lanky. Look, they got a great team. A great team, you know, and we're seeing it unfold in front of us. So we'll see what happens with that. But I kind of want to see the Knicks in the championship. I would actually like to even see the Knicks win the championship. That would be, I don't even know what, it changes the whole league. You know, you're just like, wow. I mean, it really makes you feel like anybody can get to the championships. It's something we haven't had in the NBA in a long time. Because if you think about the last 15 years in the NBA, it's all the same teams in the championship, man. Celtics, Warriors, Lakers, Denver. It's like, you're talking about, 29 teams? And like 6 of them, maybe 4 or 5 every year, you think, oh, that team actually has a chance. With the parity in the league right now and everything that's been going on the last 5 years, it seems as if every team, if you put a good team together, you make a good run, you can win a championship. It's pretty amazing. So, anyways, before we move on, guys, I want to talk to you about, are you having trouble? Are you having trouble in the bedroom? Maybe, look, dude, it's not always your fault, or it's not something to necessarily be ashamed of, but these are things that happen. Sometimes you just feel pressure. Maybe you're trying to have a baby and you can't perform because of whatever the thing is that's going on in your life. If ED is getting you down, you need HIMS to help you with your confidence. HIMS is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. HIMS provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable tablets, Viagra and Cialis, and other generics for up to 95% less. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor visits. It's a tough doctor visit to go like, yeah, my thing isn't getting up. Just fill out an intake form on their site, and medical provider will determine the right treatment options. If prescribed, your medication ships directly to you for free. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/Griffin. That's Hims, HIMS.com/Griffin for your personalized ED treatments. Hims.com/Griffin. The feature product included compound products which are not approved nor verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Thank you, Hims, for supporting Riffin with Griffin. All right, guys, let's get to it. Somebody said, thanks, Hims. I'm throbbing right now. Y'all pieces of shit. You know that? All right, guys, you ready? Diddy trial coverage. Welcome to Paralegal. Armchair Paralegal, Erik Griffin. Now the Diddy trial, man. It's finally here. It's finally here. And it is everything we thought it was going to be. What a spectacle. Now I have some thoughts. If there are any lawyers, you want to hit me up, you want to tell me what you think, I would love to hear like some real lawyers give me some thoughts about certain things, because the law is strange. It's very precise. It's very detailed. We have court of public opinion. That's what we are. That's what podcasts are. That's what listeners are. That's what people in the comments are. It's just court of public opinion. So we could have our thoughts, but we don't know why things happen. That's the technical stuff. But I'll just give you my thoughts. So it's day 3, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on day 1 and day 2. So, the Diddy trial. You know what I mean? You know what? Let's change the background. Let's make it Diddy. Oh, no, it's not this one. Sorry. Hold up, guys. Where is it? Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, you know what? I can't do that. My bad. Yeah, anyways. So, all right. First thing. So, we've been hearing about this forever. I've talked about it in the past, but one of the things that fascinates me is, so they raid his house. You know what I mean? They raid his house, they're trying to find this stuff. So you figure they raid his house, then there's all this like stuff. People think, oh, they're gonna find all these tapes about people and all this stuff. There's no word about that. We don't know what's going on. If that evidence has been presented, both sides need to present whatever evidence they have. We know that about the thing. Maybe that's a TV thing. Maybe that's not true. But, whatever they have to show. So the first thing they do, I think there was from the prosecution state, not the lawyers, but whoever was, raiding his house and everything, they find this tape, okay, which I don't know why he kept. Well, I don't know why you would keep a tape. That shows his arrogance. Why would you keep a tape, evidence of you abusing your wife in the way that it showed? So they released this tape, okay? Now you see he is capable of heinous crimes. Listen, man, I don't care what your wife does, unless, let me see the whole thing that happens, just like an unarmed person that you are way stronger than at this point. I get being mad. I get all that. I get like you were trying to restrain her. I get whatever the thing is that you think the amount of force you think like, well, you don't know how it is when you're in this situation. Nothing justifies what he did. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing justifies it. And even if you could justify it in your head, you still have to answer for what you did. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody does something terrible to you and then you retaliate tenfold because you feel like you can. You know what I mean? It's still a crime. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. And that just is terrible. So you have that out there. You put that out there. Diddy is terrible. Look what he's done. everything they say about him is just like rumors at this point. You know, everything's rumors, everything's this, whatever people say about him, it's all rumors. But now you have this evidence that this dude is a violent criminal, right? Okay. Now they arrest him, and so this is what he's facing, because they never really talk about this, because it's just a lot of like online stuff about like, oh, you know, it's all these crimes. There's going to be all these like heavy hitters are going to be in. Okay, so there's none of that. So then the timeline is Cassie sues him, you know, in a what do you call it? What is it, like, not criminal court, but the other one, you know, to get money, civil. She sues him, civil case. He settles out of court. Okay, that was already like, you were like, why you go? My initial thought at the time was like, why are you going for money? If you have evidence against this guy, why not try to put him away, right? That was my initial thought. And then I still thought that when the video came out, I was like, well, damn. This dude was doing this, right? But you know what? She was looking out for herself. She got her money. Okay, I don't know how much it was. Who knows? You know what I mean? Okay. Now you get to court. And we'll get to her testimony, which further makes me feel like, again, why this is what was going on? Crazy. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's get into it. First thing, this is what he's facing. 5 criminal counts. Okay, so this guy, this is what's crazy to me. He was given no bail, okay, for this. These are the 5 criminal counts. He's been in jail for months and months and months, no bail, and these are the crimes that he's being on trial for right now. 1 count of racketeering conspiracy. Okay. You know what I mean? You know, we should probably look that up. You know, what does that mean? Okay, here we go. This is perfect. What is racketeering? Let's just look that up. You know, might as well, right? Racketeering involves multiple instances of criminal activity, not just a single isolated crime. Okay. All right. So this coordinated effort by a group or organization rather than an individual acting alone. What? So this is the thing that's crazy about that being one of his charges. Racketeering is a legal term, refers to a pattern of illegal activities carried out by an organized group or enterprise for profit. Okay, so the first count already sounds crazy because it's one guy. But I guess he represents Bad Boy Enterprise or whatever they're saying. Like Chappelle made that joke. You know, how can one guy... He on a racketeering charge and this is one dude. All right. 2 counts of sex trafficking by force. Okay, that's a pretty specific charge too. So that means, is there sex trafficking not by force? Is there other counts underneath it? But that one's pretty specific. Sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion. Okay, I get that one. And 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has denied the allegations. All right, so that was the first thing. Okay, so that's what he's being charged with, okay? All right, so the prosecutors alleged in their opening remarks that Combs used his fame and power to run a criminal enterprise that facilitated his freak-offs, drug-fueled orgies involving paid sex workers. He alleged used violence and coercion to force the participants of victims in the freak-offs, including ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Okay, so... they're saying now, this is the part that gets me, is like, okay, so what's the crime here? So they're saying that he forced them to engage in these freak-offs. Was it one freak-off? Because to me, if it's one freak-off, all right, and this thing happened, you're like, wow. But apparently, this is numerous freak-offs. And not only that, so many people, famous and rich and powerful, these people are going to these parties and he's still having them all the time. And like, no one knows nothing. Like, to me, they should have 1,000 witnesses for the freak-offs, right? I don't know what the witness list looks like, okay? All right. The defense, in its opening statement, admitted that Combs was jealous and occasionally violent. Now, why did they have to admit that? Because they got a videotape of him beating her down in a hallway in a hotel. He was occasionally jealous and violent. Okay, well, if that's what he does on occasion, gee whiz, right? The defense said that he's physically abused and the defense said that his physical abuse and love of Baby R were not federal crimes. Okay. I mean, I don't think those two should be in the same sentence. Yeah, you can love baby oil. That's cool. But and then I guess physical abuse would be like a local thing, right? They should be like, well, he should have been arrested by the cops or, but what's going on there? And that's what I'm thinking about. All right. Here we go. The first witness called to testify was a former hotel security guard who said he responded to the 2016 incident where video showed Combs beating Cassie at the Intercontinental Hotel. Prosecutors also called a male escort to the stand who said he was paid to have sex with Cassie between 2012 and 2013. He testified that he witnessed Combs beating Cassie on at least one occasion and heard him yelling during a separate incident. Okay. All right, that's where you just kind of go, okay. This is like he said, she said. Now, here's my first thing about this. Armchair Paralegal coming in right now, okay? Let me go look at the chat so we can see what people are saying. Okay, so he's being charged with soliciting prostitution, right? Prostitution is part of the charge. This guy is an admitted prostitute. So therefore, he got a deal. Okay? So that's the first thing, right? So if you're a lawyer, let me know if I'm off base or not. But it seems to me that if he's a big time witness, this guy Daniel Phillips, who was like an escort, okay? So he's admitting, yeah, people paid me for sex, which is a crime, right? So therefore, for him to be as a witness, he would then have to make a plea deal. He would have to plea that they did, okay, well, we're not going to charge you with prostitution if you testify against him, right? That's my first thing. All right. Okay, now let's get to some of the things that this guy was saying. Okay. Okay, now, I don't understand this. So, at the end of the trial, wait. Let's see. Sex worker describes witness Combs assault. Okay. Wait. I want to go down because they got so much stuff here from day one. All right. So, Combs supporters slept outside overnight. Whatever. Who cares about that? All right. Combs tried to take phones of hotel security but was pinned to the wall, former guard testifies. After describing the sack of money offered him as a bribe, Flores then testified that Combs attempted to take the phones of hotel security guards. He came to the door, closed the door behind him. He grabbed the phone my colleague was holding because he thought he was being recorded. He eventually gave the phone back. So, of course. So, he's in a hotel. He beats her down. And now he's like, oh, shit, there's cameras and everything. Security guards come and it's a whole thing, right? I don't know. All this stuff that they're saying right now, I don't care because we just found out about that. So somebody took a bribe, or why didn't these guys come forward with all this? So they guilty themselves too, okay? They guilty. We said we are not recording and you de-escalated the situation. He continued. Flores then said that Combs tried to grab his phone. He pinned Combs to the wall. Okay, this is the thing that gets me about this part, about the videotape. Don't try to act like you were being a Boy Scout now. Because no one heard about this tape. No one knew about this tape. No one knew nothing about this. You guys were a part of a cover-up. The Intercontinental Hotel has been closed down, so there's nobody to go blame or anything like that. So, these security guards trying to act like, yeah, we held him up and we would do nothing. I don't care. Y'all guilty. Okay, that's, you're guilty. All right. Videos from the 2016 incident where Combs was seen beating Cassie in the hallway of the Intercontinental Hotel were officially submitted into evidence. So they showed this up top. Now that's interesting. That's for the trial. That's how you bias the jury. So no matter what you say about what this guy did, in your mind you go, well, he is capable of crimes because look at this tape. So I bet you that the defense was trying their best to get that tape thrown out of court. I know they were trying to please don't show this tape in court, but they did. Because everything else after this is he said, she said. It's like, this is what happened at the freak-offs, according to whoever. Like, is the defense going to call some witnesses to say, oh, yeah, I was at these freak-offs, and, yeah, it seemed like everybody was having a good time. Cassie looked like she was having fun, you know? Like, if they have to have somebody that's going to be that type of witness, because what's going to happen is this, and this is just my brain working on it. You guys follow me. Maybe I'm off base. You tell me what you think. But here's what I think. They have to say, we think he did this. We have a couple of people that say this. And then in the jury's mind, they're like, well, he is capable of stuff because remember that video? So the video is key. This is the key to their whole prosecution. That's why they showed it up front. You know what I mean? It's key. All right. Flores describing one video said, Cassie comes down the hall and puts down a bag. Okay, now he just, whatever. We know about what's going on with the video. Somebody got some money. Okay, Flores testified that he took some cell phone videos after responding to the hotel incident between Cassie and Combs. He told the court that he made a video because he didn't think his wife would believe him if he went home and told her what happened. So this guy, he ain't even, like, he's admitting that he wouldn't even, it was nothing about law or nothing about, like, trying to help this woman. It was just like, this guy sounds crazy to me. One video showed him motioning to Cassie to go into the room, and another includes him picking up a phone and discussing the incident with his supervisor. The former hotel guard describes that he hadn't reviewed video of the assault before writing the incident report. Flores said he didn't call the police because Cassie wanted to leave and no one was pressing charges. Yeah, that's so convenient, huh? All that sounds convenient to me. Combs' attorney, Brian Steele, took up questioning Flores on the cross-examination and pushed the former guard on his belief that Combs was trying to bribe him. As far as the bribe, Mr. Combs held up a $100 bill. You took that as a bribe. You used the word bribe. Then Flores responds, 100%, Flores answered, later affirming the same belief when asked about the sack of money Combs held up. Steele also pushed Flores about the report made for the hotel at the time of 2016 incident. He asked Flores why he didn't include Combs' alleged telling Cassie she couldn't leave. Flores responded that he didn't think it was a significant fact to include. I don't know if this guy is a credible witness. I don't know. I mean, I think that it's like, why even talk to that guy at all? You have the video. You saw what he did. I guess that the bribing goes towards the racketeering coercion part of the indictment. So I guess that's what this is. They're trying to say he bribed this people not to put this tape out, you know? Now, this dude's in a tough spot because he could say, yeah, he tried to bribe me and I didn't take the money. Or, again, the prosecution said, hey, man, you testify against him, and we're not going to charge you with taking a bribe. So that guy's in a tough spot. Because did he take the bribe? My question is, why didn't the video come out for 10 years? 8 years, whatever it is, right? Where was this video? Somebody took some money. You know, how come? Okay, so here's the thing, too. So this guy's saying he was in this incident. The guy was trying to bribe him, and he's saying, before I wrote my report, I hadn't seen the video yet. Okay. So when you saw the video, then what? So then if Combs and Cassie are gone and you as a hotel staff see this video, what are you doing? You're not doing nothing? You're not saying like, oh, we should probably call the police and let them see this because this is a real crime. What happened there? Somebody dropped the ball, in my opinion, right there. Don't you think, guys? Crazy thought process. All right. Then the prosecution called new witness Daniel Phillips, who worked as a male escort and says he received money from Cassie to have sex around 2012, 2013. Okay. And of course, she's going to say Combs, Diddy made her do this, right? Okay. Because right now, that sounds weird. Okay. Phillips described in 2012 or 2013 gig where he was paid a few $1,000s to have sex with Cassie while Combs watched. The prosecution witness said he was expecting to do a striptease and leave with a $200 tip. At that point, she gave me $1,000 and said she would tip me when I leave. Phillip told jurors, we ended up having sex, rubbed baby oil on each other for a couple minutes. He, Combs, was sitting in a corner masturbating. Okay. I'm waiting for the crime. Okay, so this is all the thing where it's like, okay, so there's a world where everybody was okay with everything that's happening right now, right? Listen, by the way, I'm not trying to defend him at all. I just think, what's the case here? What's the law? So according to this right now, it's just everyone is saying he forced them to do this because right now everything sounds consensual to me. It sounds like 2 crimes were committed. So 3 crimes are going on right now. Diddy is forcing her, right? And then she is paying for the thing. And the other guy is like, yeah, I'm taking the money to be an escort. Okay, well, isn't that a crime? Strange. All right. Phillips told the court that Combs would often instruct him on how to have sex with Cassie. Okay. Again, not a crime. He started really directing us after the second time. Interesting, huh? The second time. So this is an ongoing thing. So, you know, was she a captive? Like, this is the part that gets me about, I guess, people, whatever people's motivations are, whatever their motivations are. But when she came out with this, like, I'm going to sue him in a civil trial, and all this was going on, and there was no thought of like, well, we got to like go to the authorities with this. It's crazy. All right, so some of the instructions alleged included a role play scenario, when to orgasm, where Combs wanted Phillip to ejaculate, and what sex acts to perform. According to Phillips, Combs would occasionally stop him so that Combs could have sex with Cassie. Okay. Like, this sound like, should we know about this? You know what I mean? Because again, this all sound like everybody's having a good time. He also alleged that Combs offered him drugs, but Phillips said he didn't use substances. Phillips described one time which he said it appeared Cassie might have been under the influence of drugs. Okay, so one of the times, you know, it's like, we need some facts here. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they have enough on this thing. Combs opened the door. He said, I don't think this is going to happen today, Phillips said. She looked like she was completely passed out, half on the couch and half off the couch. Okay, so like, it sounds like, you know, they partying. Okay, so what I don't understand about that statement right there, so Combs is like, Diddy's like, he has this thing, the escort comes, he does his cucking thing, and he watches her, then he has sex with her, you know. And then this time he comes, and she's kind of like, whatever, and he goes, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen today. Why would he do that? Why wouldn't this monster just be like, all right, here we go, come on in. This guy's already done it once. You know, this guy knows the deal. So all of a sudden, now he's like a good person, or like it just sounds like a responsible in the moment. You know, listen, you take drugs, you have sex parties, stuff's gonna happen, right? So that part is odd to me. All right, Phillips told jurors that Combs made it clear that he was to keep quiet about the alleged work. Well, of course, like you don't want to be out at the bar talking. Yeah, I just had sex with Diddy and his wife. I mean, obviously he wanted that to be hush hush. He asked for my driver's license and took a picture of it and said it just for insurance, that if I spoke about it to anybody, I understood it to be that he was threatening me. Okay. I mean, I get it. I mean, let's say that none of this is a crime and this is like she was enjoying herself, he was enjoying himself, and this guy was enjoying himself. You famous like this, I don't think you want this out, right? So I get him. What I'm saying is, even if he wasn't like this monster that beat his wife, right? I think anybody would be like, yo, bro, don't say nothing. You know what I mean? Okay. Then it gets to this part. Phillips said he once saw Combs assault Cassie because she didn't come to the rapper's side as soon as he called. Okay. So this guy just is like, yeah, you didn't do nothing? I heard him yell out, babe, come here. Phillips added that Cassie then asked for a moment more time as she finished working on her computer. Combs came out of the room and saw a liquor bottle fly past her and hit the wall. He told jurors he grabbed her by her hair and dragged her into the bedroom. She was screaming and pulled her into the bedroom, and what I heard sounded like him slapping her. Okay, all right. We know he's capable of that. We saw that. Phillips said Cassie apologized, but the Combs responded by saying, "Bitch, when I tell you to come, you come. Not late. You come now, not later." And then he turned on the music. I mean, it seems like this guy's a monster. Phillips said he was shocked and terrified, but that he didn't know what to do. He did not intervene, and there was 4 of 5 bodyguards in the other room. So are these guys going to testify? Are they going to be under oath or something? Okay. This guy's scared. So this is the second time. Now, you would think that that'd be the last time he comes, right? Because he saw this. There's 5 bodyguards there. He couldn't do nothing. He didn't go to the cops because he felt like he would get in trouble because he was being a prostitute. What do you do? All right, the next thing. Asked if there was any other time Phillips could recall Combs yelling at Cassie. He testified that there was an incident he could hear while the couple was in a bedroom at the Essex Hotel. So this is now 3 separate times this same guy has been with them. I don't know what the timeline is, but at what point do you not go back? Okay? He said, I heard yelling. I'm sorry. Someone was being slapped around. Okay, blah, blah, blah. This is all, he might have had a towel on. Cassie then ran out of the room and jumped into Phillips' lap, shaking and terrified. He said Phillips said he recalled wondering why Cassie stayed with someone who was beating her like this. And my question is, why are you working for somebody that beats somebody like this? That's my question, but, money's money. She basically tried to convince me that it's okay, I'll be okay, Phillips said. And I said, it's not okay, and you need to get help. Oh, my God. What does this guy think he's... this guy thinks he's Pretty Woman? This is the escort with a heart? So this is now 3 separate incidents. He's being paid to have sex. He's seen all this abuse, and he's telling her while she's in his lap for him to work as a sex worker to be like, girl, you need to get out of here. Really? Oh, my God. All right. Court was adjourned. Okay, so then now we get to day 2. All right, let me look at the chat here. Where are we at with this? Okay, someone said in the chat, they no longer prosecute escorts in New York. Oh, okay, well, that's interesting to know. I didn't know that. See, that's the kind of facts that's important. Because I feel like I don't know if that's true or not. That's just somebody saying that. But I think that if that's true, then that's good to know, because then he has no other, he's not being coerced by the prosecution. You get what I'm saying? If it's not legal. But then why is he up for that charge? You know what I mean? Why is he up for that charge then? That's my question. So he's one of his charges is 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking, fraud, coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. I don't understand that then. Why is prostitution part of his, what he's being charged for? So that's interesting, right? But yeah, so we got, this guy, Daniel Phillips, is the escort with a heart right here, huh? I mean, I just got to say again, how ridiculous this sounds. So this dude is there on his 3rd time now that he's been paid to have sex with these people and engage in all this nonsense. One of the occasions, he saw the abuse. The second time, she comes out of a hotel room, wherever was going on in this hotel, she jumps in his lap, and he's like, girl, you got to get out of here. While he's there to be a part of the abuse. Okay. That's crazy. All right, day 2 of the trial now. Key details from the second day of the testimony, and this is from the BBC, all right? So this is what happened in court yesterday. A male stripper finished his testimony and then was cross-examined by defense. And then we get Cassie's testimony. Oh, Cassie's testimony was just, oh, man. Okay, so Jennifer, former U.S. attorney, blah, 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 New York, Diddy Combs relationship, about a decade, on and off. Ventura's testimony is in the case. So she was with this dude for 10 years, on and off, which to me is pretty interesting too. So they weren't together, and then she went back to him? Hey, listen, I ain't going to victim blame at all. I'm just saying it sounds strange. The jury is looking to put together a cohesive narrative, so hearing from someone who was there for a number of years is crucial. Cases are much likely to be successful when there is a narrator. Okay, that makes sense. When there are 10 or 20 witnesses, it's hard for jurors to understand. That's why Mrs. Ventura is so critical. All right, I get that. Court is adjourned. Okay, let's see. Wait. I have to go down to get everything that happened today. All right. This is who's it? Okay, wait. No. Let me see. Where are we? May 13th. What day is it right now? Is it the 13th? No, it's the 14th. Perfect. Okay. So I got to look at the 13th stuff. Okay, here we go. We got to go down. Here we go. All right. Ventura is now taking the courtroom through her first few freak-off experiences. Okay, she's in tears, obviously. She's also pregnant, it looks like, so she's emotional. She describes this day as the fear and humiliation she says she experienced when Combs called the first escort to his home. So this is the first time, which I understand. She then explains how she took ecstasy and got drunk beforehand. She also put a mask on, which she tells the court Combs instructed her to wear. Okay. She was too high to feel much. All right, so I think that's going to be crucial. I think that's going to be key, and you're going to hear her say that a lot. I don't think she's ever going to say, oh, yeah, I enjoyed this, or I was a part of it. I wanted to do it. That can't be part of it at all. And I think that's what the defense is going to try to say. Well, no, she was a part of this. This was consensual. She the one that paid the dude, right? And she's going to say, I never wanted to do this. He forced me. He made me pay the guy. She has to say that, or she'll be on trial too, right? All right. Then the freak-off, she became a weekly ritual, she says. So this was something that was happening every week. Ventura says she was worried if she declined to participate, Combs would become angry. Okay. His eyes would go black. She testified describing episodes of rage. The versions of him I was in love with, no longer there. So she was in love with him. Okay, whatever. The prosecution asked if there was anything she enjoyed about the freak-offs. The time spent with Combs, she answers. What? Okay, I need some clarification there. I don't know what that means. The prosecution asks if there was anything she enjoyed about the freak-off. And she says, the time spent with Combs. So during the freak-off, that you're too high to remember anything, you're numbed by everything, you're being forced to all this stuff, but the only time you enjoyed it was when you were with your husband at the time, or wherever they were married, or whatever it was. I mean, it's just weird to me. She says she tried to tell him gently that doing this made me feel horrible and made me feel worthless, but he didn't care. Okay. Yeah, fair. That's a fair feeling. You know what I mean? Okay. I couldn't say no. This is important because this goes to the coercion and all that. After some emotional testimony from Ventura, who talked about how the freak-offs humiliated her, we now have a change of pace for her testimony. Prosecutors are asking dozens of details about the freak-offs, asking Ventura to name the hotels they took place. There are too many to name, she says, as well as the types of candles Combs wanted to use during the encounters. Combs' lawyers began to object to the repetitive line of questioning, and the judge calls a sidebar. Ooh, so it got heated in court. Throughout, the prosecutors are trying to emphasize that Combs made all the calls for the freak-offs. I couldn't say no, Ventura says at one point. I mean, that's a crux of the case right there. You know what I mean? Like, she has to be this witness that was like, I never wanted to do any of this. No matter if that's true or not, I mean, she has to say that. Court takes a short break. Cassie has to be on the witness stand giving an emotional and graphic testimony for most of the day. So they say there was a lot of graphic stuff that was being said. Cassie Ventura on the witness stand in sex trafficking trial. Saying, okay, as we have another sketch from inside the court. Okay, that's just a sketch. Okay, who is in the jury? A licensed massage therapist who is a family. Okay, they're telling us about the jury. Okay. Ventura describes how escorts were hired for freak-offs. So this is important. After going to a graphic detail about how she was expected to do with the freak-offs, Ventura's testimony has moved to how she acquired the male escorts. Combs tasked her with hiring them and approved each one. She said he preferred they be black men. She tells the court he was instructed to tell them that her husband was into voyeurism and he wanted to see her with another man. Several services were used to contract escorts in different cities, including Craigslist, Backpage, Cowboys for Angels. Cowboys for Angels has come up multiple times in both her escort's testimony, and she says it became her most frequently used across the U.S. Okay, so this stuff, that's why it's federal, because it happened everywhere. So regardless of in New York, if escorting is illegal, this stuff happened everywhere in the country. That's why it's a federal trial. This ain't a local trial. So that's why if it was a local trial and somebody's saying escorting isn't, they don't prosecute for escorts in New York, well, this has happened everywhere. So they're prosecuting him federally. So I think this guy still got a deal. Anyways. As Ventura testimony continues this afternoon, we are hearing more details about how the couple, she and Combs, hired escorts and organized the freak-offs. Ventura tells the court they would pay the escorts $1,500 to $6,000 for their services. The court is shown photos of 6 escorts that Ventura asked to identify. She identifies them. Some of the men were flown to destinations to have sex with Ventura, getting the prosecution allegations of transportation people from purpose of prostitution. Okay, see, damn. See, that's like, okay, should that be, if you get denied bail for that, you're rich. Isn't that how you would? So I guess prostitution is illegal. Okay. You flying motherfuckers across the country to have, I don't know if that's like a major crime, but I guess, again, it just sounds bad, right? I think it sounds worse than it is, because that's what he's being. Transportation for people for the purpose of prostitution. The way they word it, the law thing, it sounds crazy. It sounds terrible. But if you just think about it logically, you rich, you like this one escort, you put him on a plane, you fly him over. How's that any different from some you meet some girl on Instagram from or whatever, you meet some chick from far away, and you go yeah, you want to come, come to, I'm on a business trip, or I'm wherever. Let me fly you to come see me, and then you fly the chick, you pay for everything. How's that different? I don't, you know what I mean? Oh my God, man. All right. Ventura says she used drugs at all of the freak-offs: marijuana, ketamine, GHB, because it was a way to not feel it for what it really was. Okay. Again, that's something she has to say. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. But for court purposes, you have to say every single time, I never enjoyed this. I never wanted to do it. All right. And then you have to just believe her or don't believe her. All right. Short break. It was an object being heavily object. Okay. Prosecutors are continuing to question Ventura about the details of every act that took place during the so-called freak-offs. So the prosecution is really trying to paint a picture of this is what happened at these freak-offs. Damn. So it's just a lot of details that they go into. And they're saying that she's going to be on the witness stand for 2 days. So she's probably on the witness stands today. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about it next week. They say Ventura's testimony is critical to prosecution's case, legal experts say. All right. So Jennifer Bettle, a former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, tells the BBC that because of the length of Cassandra Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs' relationship, about a decade on and off, Ventura's testimony in this case is crucial. The jury is looking to put together a cohesive narrative. That's that whole narrative thing. So they need her to be the one telling the story, that this is what was going on for 10 years, instead of having 20 witnesses. But again, this is her word versus his. And I don't think that the escort is all that credible. Sounds to me, right? So they said another dramatic day in court. Cassandra, ex-girlfriend, and the witness everyone has been waiting for. It's a full house at court, whatever. We spent hours hearing from the key witness, Ventura. All right. When it's the difference turn to cross-examining Ventura, they will likely also focus the R&B singer's relationship with Combs, possibly in an effort to portray her as a willing participant. Okay. All right. So enough of that. Let me just get to my thoughts because we got to go. So, the prosecution needs her to testify that this was an abusive, which they have proof of, relationship. Was he an abusive husband? Yes. Should he be prosecuted for that? For sure. These other things. Now, these alleged freak-offs that she said happened weekly. So this dude was having freak-offs every week. Is that separate from the parties he was having with people? Sounds like it is. Sounds like this was just some private stuff between a marital couple, and then maybe it overlapped with his parties. Possibly. Okay? The prosecution has to prove that this was abusive, and she did not want to be a part of it, and she was coerced and drugged, and she's saying she's also admitting that she took the drugs herself because she just wanted to numb herself from this situation. And this went on for 10 years. Okay. The defense has to prove, no, this was something she was a part of and she wanted to be there. Who's going to have the better story? That's the thing. Who's going to testify for Diddy? Is it going to be one of his bodyguards? Is one of the bodyguards going to come out and be like, yeah, I've been the bodyguard for 10 years. And like, yeah, she loved every second of it. You know, somebody on his side is going to have to come out and say that. Somebody on his side is going to come and testify and be like, nah, I was there. I saw it. You know, was he abusive? Yeah, I didn't like, everybody's guilty. Everybody's guilty of letting this dude beat her. All right. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. Everybody's guilty of that. Okay. But they're going to have to come out and be like, yeah, she was the boss. She picked up escorts, she looked like she was always having a good time. Somebody is going to have to testify for that. Okay. And then we're going to see how it all plays out. If the jury believes or doesn't believe, but again, it's just really strange to me that the part about, the one, like this is all they have on him? You know what I'm saying, though? Like, this is all they have on him? The criminal counts are, let's read the criminal counts again. Racketeering conspiracy, which is supposed to be more than one person. Racketeering is a group. So that's one, he's being charged like as an LLC. You know what I mean? 2 counts of sex trafficking by force. All right. Fraud. So he's like if he just put somebody on a plane. Fraud or coercion. All right. Because whatever that is, okay, they have to prove that, I guess. And 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. That's the one right there. I don't know. 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. So it must be just he flew an escort in a plane to come fuck his wife. That's a crime. So it's like, I just think that that's dangerous that anybody could say that. Because you see that charge a lot, You know what I mean? It's like, or something about transportation. So you say, I don't agree with that one. That's all. I just think you've ever flown someplace? Like, so it also for you, so it says transportation to engage in prostitution. So if you fly to see somebody and you pay for everything, is that the same thing? That you engaged in prostitution? It's like, woof. But anyways, this case is juicy as hell. God, it went longer than I usually do. This case is juicy. I think we're gonna start learning a lot of different things about the law because of it, and we'll see where it goes. You know what I mean? We'll see where it goes. We'll see what they say. We'll see who the witnesses are going to be. Like, she's a star witness because, she was a part of she's in the video and she's a part of the civil trial that she had, and she was with him for 10 years. Who else are they going to bring? Who else is the prosecution going to bring? So they have the escort, this one escort. I don't know why there wasn't more than one. Where are the other ones? Maybe they did it. Maybe they were like, nah, I ain't trying to be a part of that. Who knows? And what are his witnesses going to be? And I guarantee you, whoever his witnesses are, they're going to say adamantly and vehemently, more than one is going to say, we saw it. Yes, he was abusive sometimes. You saw the tape. We know he is. They can't deny that. They can't deny he was abusive. But she seemed to enjoy herself every single time. Anytime I saw her, she enjoyed herself. That is what they're going to have to say. So we'll see where it goes. We see who they call, and we'll see what happens. But, whew. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching Riffin with Griffin. Thanks for listening to Riffin with Griffin. Guys, make sure you sub. You know what I mean? You gotta make sure you sub so you can get the when I'm going live. I'm gonna be on Twitch most days. I'm gonna probably get on Twitch in like 10 minutes, get some Call of Duty in, and then if you want to be a Patreon member, just to support the show, that's awesome too. You can even be a YouTube member actually. YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, Patreon person. Either way, I want to thank everybody for watching this show and listening to the show. Audio people, thank you. All right, video people, you guys are still here. Appreciate you guys for being here, and I will see you next week.